Alrighty, ready?
Yeah.
Alright. Hey everybody, Scott here again, and today I'm here with Ryan Magdziarz, and this is really cool because we've got a lot of value coming in. We wanted to talk about, because Ryan at a very young age made this decision that he was just going to go for it, just building multi-million-dollar businesses and just helping others to do the same. Coaches, known as the Coach's Coach, author of Secrets of the Seven-Figure Coach, and so I've just been reading this thing, and not only is it it passes the weight test, but it's the simplest book to follow. Visual people, there's diagrams, everything's kind of just given as very generous examples as to how it works from Ryan's own experience. And what I absolutely love about what you've done is that you've just run with this. You've just kind of at age now, 24. Out of all the things you could have done, as in just learn and then stop, or just not learned, or just decided to do nothing, or get to a point and then just sit there, you've got this thing, you've made this decision, you're just running with it. So
100%.
Yeah, in everything that you've achieved, how did you come to that decision to say, well, what's your best way to describe how did you get to that point?
It's a great question, and by the way, thanks for having me here. And obviously this is our HQ, but thanks for having me on your channel and getting in the interview. You've been a massive follower up until this point, so it's been awesome to have you supporting and in the Coaches Club and stuff like that. So you're awesome. It's great we get a chance to meet.
Thank you.
And no worries at all. So this bad boy is obviously a reflection after the first 12 months of us being in business, and we hit 7 figures in 10 months, which was a really quick, fast-paced initial 10 months in the business. But obviously what you're saying is I've just run with it, and there was a big build up to that because it didn't just happen overnight. I became the person that I was to have the leverage to want to launch this thing based on the experience before that of not being at the right place.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just a boom, want to start a business, run with it, just done. I got to a point of extreme frustration first.
Yeah.
And for me that really came, I've got quite a big backstory in terms of my upbringing that wasn't too great with my parents, and drug dealer dad, alcoholic mum, not the best situation kind of growing up. And that's what got me into business in the first place, that kind of desire to want to be more and set a new legacy for my future kids and just break the mold. That's what really got me into the space. And also listening to Tony Robbins for the first time was my entry into personal development. So the cross between wanting to do something more with my life and getting into business and just wanting to help people came from how Tony helped me, because when I was 15, 16, I listened to Personal Power, which a good friend of mine, a mentor back at that time, he said we were playing golf, because I played golf, that was my outlet. So before school, after school, that was my everything. I wasn't hugely popular in school, and I was going through lots of tough stuff at home. So I'd get on the course, just zone out, and had this mentor at the course. His name was David Shen. He's an amazing guy. You could probably look him up now. He's doing some pretty cool things with what he does. Yep. And he said to me on this one day, because when you play golf, you're at a club and they have competitions on the weekend, and we'll play in a competition. And he said, if you shoot this certain score today, I'll buy you an iPod for your birthday. Yeah. And so I'm thinking, for me at that point, that would have been everything. That would have meant the world. So I was like, bring it on. You've got it, Dave. I'm gonna smash this. I didn't know he had another agenda for this. So I ended up shooting that score, and he got me the iPod, but when I went to put songs on it, he'd already stacked it up with a bunch of songs from this artist that I'd never heard of, which was Tony Robbins. And I started listening to it, and it changed the game for me. And as soon as that happened, there was a part of me that said, I wonder, I didn't really feel like it was possible at that stage, but I thought if at one point in my life I could do something similar to what he's doing, that'd be it. That's what I want to be in the long term. I didn't have the confidence then to be able to think, I can go out and be lead seminars. I couldn't even get up and do an English presentation at school without crapping myself and wanting to avoid it. So it was obviously too far away for me to see that being possible. But a few years went past, got into business, and when I started in business, I just started bloody anything because I didn't know what to start. So I went web design, tech. I know I could put some templates together and sell them. So I started selling websites to tradies, and tradies aren't the most open-minded people to call at 7 a.m. when they're just about to start, or 6 a.m. I'd start calling in the morning. I used to cold call all day, every day, and get on the phone and call and just get rejected. So I was cold calling, and I learned to sell by doing that. So I spent about 3 months calling 8 hours a day, and built up a good little 6-figure business selling websites. Nice. And that sounds like a reason, just build up a 6-figure business. Obviously that was getting rejected all day, every day for months to get to the point where I finally broke through. So it definitely wasn't easy. But that was where I started. And then between then and when I launched Winning, that was kind of the frustration I was talking about, because I ran so many different businesses and so many different times. I crossed over as well, where I was just doing different things, trying to find that path, but I wasn't clear on what I wanted to do, because I wasn't getting in touch with the honest, best version of myself, answering the question that I had deep within me of what I really wanted to do. I was kind of just path of least resistance, or getting excited about, oh, that's a gap in the market, that's a gap in the market, instead of using what I really want to do, like my purpose, my legacy is what was going to guide me. And it wasn't until I did this exercise after I'd built up a business, it was a digital agency, so I'd kind of gone back and forth, and then ended up opening like a bigger, broader digital agency, and we had a team of 8. We're on track to do about 1.6 mil in that 12-month period. And I was like, what am I doing? Like I've done so many different things, and I'm not feeling fulfilled, even though the finances are starting to really come now. And so I tried to, usually what I do when I get in a state of confusion is I try to reverse engineer what has to happen. So like when we chat later and we're talking about your business and your goals and stuff, like I'll reverse engineer. I'll try to figure out what has to be done to hit that outcome. So I always start with the end and then reverse engineer, work my way backwards. And at this time I'm thinking, what do I want to do with my life? So let's reverse engineer my whole life. So it was the biggest reverse engineer I'd ever done. And I thought, well, the end of life is death. So why didn't I do an exercise going and writing out my own eulogy? And I'd actually heard of someone doing it before, so I thought that would be perfect. So I wrote out, what did I want to be remembered for when I died? And that's when I realized that it wasn't about business that was kind of the exciting thing, even though that challenged me and got me growth and freedom and put me in a position in my life where at the age of 21, 22, I was, made more money than my parents had made their whole lives pretty much. And I broke the mold. And that was awesome.
It's really interesting. Like, you didn't say that you thought about writing your eulogy. You wrote your eulogy. Because like in so much like what you said, like I can relate to, in my personal experience, a portion of that, because I haven't done as many things as what you've done. And that's why I love the example, because it's so generous in giving, me and everyone else a map. And I think in who we're talking to, that these are people, where we're talking to people who they can't necessarily yet have a vision in front of them if they haven't sort of like exercises like write your eulogy. If they have, like, if that hasn't been done, and to me I think that's a massive clue. There's something like, in my business before I had my first clients, this sounds weird, it sounds like I was wasting time. I got myself a client file like for each client I was going to see, but I had no names to put in them. So I started putting myself in as a client. And it sounds like I'm just like playing and being ridiculous, but I kept swapping chairs. And the reason I did it, because the Napoleon Hill book, The Think and Grow Rich, is talking about like having this play thing. And then what you talk about, like writing your own eulogy, and I'm thinking, is that one of those things, like one of those big secrets that actually helps people make a decision?
Well, it worked for me, so I've definitely tried it out. And I think the reason it's effective is because it gets you to think long term. And a lot of people play the short-term game. So I was like, ooh, gap in the market. Ooh, why don't I try this? Someone has a business opportunity for me. Like I launched that app called Mood Swing with a bunch of friends, and we got 100,000 users in the first month. But I had no passion towards that. It was just kind of like a fun little thing. Like we had Geordie Shore promoting it. That's not my scene. So it wasn't passion. It was like short-term. It was like, ooh, what a little opportunity. Or, there's a gap in the market for PT. So I created a web builder for them. It wasn't looking long-term. So when I started with the end in mind, it got me thinking, well, the more long-term you think, the more effective your decisions are, because you're playing a game that's going to serve you in more of a holistic way as opposed to a short-term fix. It's like everything is in the long-term and short-term like opposite, or they're definitely different. Sometimes they're opposite. Like, for example, you eat something that's not healthy, tastes great. In the short term, it's a big win. In the long term, it's negative. You eat something that's healthy. Maybe in the short term, it's like, that didn't taste that good. But in the long term, it really serves you. Or going to the gym, or going and talking to a girl that you find attractive, and you go and talk to her, and it's painful because it's nerve-wracking. But then in the long term, like my partner, that's how I met my partner. They used to drop me off because we went and had a nice lunch. We've been together for 5 years.
Wow, congratulations.
And thank you. But I met her by going and approaching her in a shopping centre. Which was one of the scariest things I've ever done. Like, business is one thing, but then that was really scary. And then after doing that, because I had a little system that I kind of created to go and approach girls, just like this authentic system, and I was doing dating coaching for one point as well, because again, it was like, oh, look at that, I got those results, I'll do that. So again, long-term thinking and then reverse engineered. And that's when I realized that, holy crap, if I could help people that help more people, that's going to serve my mission of what I really want to be recognized when I die, which is knowing that I've touched people's lives. That's what that eulogy presented for me, and that's what allowed me to go all in.
Yeah, because I think that it sounds like almost like the long-term thinking is almost like that's the strategy, but even further than long-term thinking is long-term feeling. That eulogy is about, like, it's a really dark and kind of almost, it's an out of your comfort zone activity. It's like, well, why would I want to think about something like that? But then it connects you with the long-term thinking seems, would you say, does it come after the long-term, you've got to be connected to the long-term?
With what you said, long-term feeling, I think spot on, Scott. I think it's really spot on, because when I just said that then, what it's like, I want to know that I've touched people's lives. That's an emotion.
Yeah.
It's like, I didn't say, I want to have, this much money, or it wasn't logic. Although to some extent I attached something logical to it so I could measure it, which was, I want to change 1 billion lives and I want to raise $1 billion for charity. Because I thought, what's really big? What's something that can connect, that's tangible, that sets me up for a mission for the rest of my life? And there's nothing that can be bigger than that for me, so why would I do something else?
Exactly.
Now that I've got that big vision, I don't ever feel the need to chase something different that's better, because that's massive. It's like, that's going to fulfill me for all my needs forever.
Yeah.
So I don't feel any need to want to go out and do something different now, because I've connected to a purpose and a mission that's bigger. And that's what writing that eulogy gave me.
Yeah.
And when I got that, that's when you said, like, you went all in and you started doing stuff. That was a piece of the puzzle. That gave me the clarity that I know a lot of people have clarity in business and they still don't do anything. They're like, I want to run my own business, but they stay in a job for 10 years that they don't like.
And then they give credit to sometimes the wrong steps. Important steps, and very important, but they weren't the feeling steps that connected them with that future. Whereas, like, one video you did recently, like, you're grabbing your arm and saying that's called skin.
Skin in the game.
Skin in the game.
Yes.
And so it's kind of, I'm thinking, it's an arm and skin, what's that? And you're like, oh, okay. So what you mean is, like, you're committed.
Yeah.
It's like there was this example of, like, with bacon and eggs, that, like, the chicken's a bit connected to that egg, but the bacon's so attached. Sorry, the pig is so attached to that bacon that it's all in. So it has to grow that. And that's probably like a weird example. But I think that...
It's a very weird example, but I like it.
Oh, yeah. Like, what I'm listening for is, like, the little games in the head that make life real. Because it seems like all of life seems to be a game, but, like, no one told us that we were about to play it. Like, whether you want to play it or not, too bad you're playing it.
You're thrown in the game.
Yeah, and do you know the rules? Do you not know the rules? Was someone responsible for telling you or not? And you're like, well, it doesn't seem to matter. All that seems to matter is that we're just all in it. And so then I play mind games imagining, what if I was you and how would I behave? Or if I was someone else doing something else, how would I behave?
Yeah,
and to me,
that's identity. That's a big thing as well, but I think the real big thing you're talking about there, which was, you mentioned like, this is my skin, this is the key, it's skin in the game.
Yeah.
The first half of what I said just before, which was getting the clarity on my vision, doesn't really mean anything, because unless you've got that full commitment. And for me at that point in time, I was thinking, you know what, this is awesome, that's what I want to do, but I know myself well enough that my willpower won't get me there.
Yeah.
I knew that my willpower, just with sustained efforts for the activities I need to do to make that business work and make that vision work, willpower alone won't get me there. But if I can use that willpower to commit to something that will get me there, it'll make the difference. So what I did at that point is I invested in a 50K mentor. And I didn't have the money at that point because I had to shut down that digital agency. I had to hire a web manager. I had to refund a bunch of clients, and it destroyed me financially. But the time was more important to me than the finances. So I sacrificed that straight away. That was like a one-day turnaround. Like, I knew someone that I could hire in to get the web manager going. Did it in that day. I approached that mentor in that same day and said, I want you to mentor me for $50,000 to be your biggest case study, plus GST. So it was 5K deposit, $1,000 a week over the year. And it was like, well, now if I didn't have skin in the game, I've got skin in the game, because if I don't make sales, I've got no money to pay this person. And when I make a promise, I follow that promise. And so I didn't miss a single payment for the whole year with this guy, because within a week I ran my first seminar and I made $5,000. And then week 2 I ran another seminar and I made $5,000, which is not a lot, because I didn't have this big marketing thing behind me. It was manual. It was like, who are the people that I'm associated with that I can get their friends and family, and just get anyone in front of me that I can just, even though it sounds like I was just hungry, but I was nervous and I was desperate. So it was that desperation that created that skin in the game that created the change, because like I said, my willpower the fear was stronger than my willpower, so I had to do something really big and channel all that willpower into a small decision that then had my back for the whole rest of that first 12 months of winning, which is how I got to 7 figures in 10 months, because I had skin in the game. And then week 3 I made 16k, and I never had a week in the business where I made less than 5k, and it's been 2.5 years since then. So that was because I had skin in the game. Whereas a lot of people, they don't have the courage to be able to take that initial leap of faith, and they take path of least resistance. And that's easy, but it doesn't serve you, which is very, very dangerous, because I believe to be successful in business, action's everything and hard work's everything, but it's so broad. Action and hard work in my mind can be summarized with 2 main attributes: courage and consistency. So courageous action and doing it a lot for a long period of time. So it's like, for me, that meant running a seminar. That's action could have been like writing out a plan for my business. That doesn't mean anything. But I think courageous action is running a seminar, right?
Yeah, like you've got courage and consistency, or you are a bench warmer. And it's that you don't really get a middle ground.
Yeah.
That's like a fantasy thing.
Pick up where we left off. We're back on. So yeah, jumping in, it's like courage and consistency is everything, because you said it's either your courage and consistency, massive action, massive results, or bench warmer. Bench warmer in their mind might feel like the busiest person on earth. I'm in it, I'm working long, like, don't worry sweetie, a husband talking to his wife and his husband wants to launch a business. I'm working all day, every day trying to make this work. That means he's at the office or at home just kind of on his computer planning, procrastinating, not doing anything. Whereas like it's just as draining to do that than it is to take massive action, like proper action, like courageous action consistently, but it still feels like it's draining. So you can feel busy and you can tell yourself you're doing important things, but what my definition before I was aware of this was of doing a lot of things was time. Like I'm spending a lot of time on my business. That means nothing. I don't care, like when I'm coaching someone, I tell them what to do, they do it, and they get results. And I don't care if they're loving the process or spending the time. I don't care about that. All I care about is the KPIs. You're hitting your KPIs or not, you're getting your things done or not, because if you are, the results are there. And like, you know a few people we've worked with that are crushing it, because they just do what has to be done. They hit KPIs because that's courageous action. Like I said, when I committed to running winning, I committed to running a seminar a week until the thing was successful. Which could have been 5 years, it could have been 3 years, it could have been 10 years. I didn't care. I was all in. Like skin in the game, 1,000,000%. Didn't care how long it was going to take. I was all in. Like, so courageous action. Seminar for me at that point, running that was the most petrifying, scary, daunting thing you could ever imagine for me. But I said, you know what, if I can have that courage, if I can be willing to do what others aren't, and willing to do what others aren't willing to do, then I'll be successful. And if I do it consistently, there will come a time where it does pay off. So it wasn't that I ran 12 seminars in 10 weeks and made this business successful, it was that I was willing to run it forever until it was successful. And that's where people fail, because they might launch one Facebook ad or do one sales call, doesn't go the way that they hope, and that disheartens them. And so they stop. So it's not just about having courageous action in a little dose, it's doing courageous action in the long term. And I'm really focusing on the initial results in business, not what it takes to go from 500k a year or $1 million a year or $2 million a year to 5 million to 10 million, because they're different sorts of activities. Pardon me, different actions. We're talking about the initial 7-figure journey, which is courage and consistency.
And people can either like wait till stuff gets so bad that they're ready to make a decision, which a lot of people do. Like, like they get so sick that they have to eat healthy, or they get so in debt that they have to make a decision, or they can make a decision that commits them past the point of no return.
Yes.
And it's like for me, I left my parents' business because it just wasn't my thing. So refilling ink cartridges, did that for 6 years. And I kept wanting to control the business, but I didn't own it. And so like in this business book I read that said, if you don't own the business, forget about every other rule that comes after it. And I'm like, really? And so I thought, okay, so then I left. There was a bit of a disagreement at the time, and my parents and I, we get on so well, but for this little time in history, there was a bit of an argument. And so I was living with them, and I was working for them, and so then I just left with nothing but my car. And then I signed up to study hypnotherapy. And then I thought, well, now I need a place to live, I need a job.
It's good leverage.
And like...
It's desperation.
Yeah, some way to pay off the course, some way to pay rent, and some job. And so then it was weird, it was like the biggest upscaling of my life. It was like the worst, best time of my life, because I had no idea what was going to happen next. And so it's like there's so much kind of nostalgia looking back at it, but back in the day, I was like what you call, sweating bullets every day, just thinking,
Yeah.
turning up to an unknown event, thinking like, why am I here and what am I doing? I'm some kind of imposter. But then that's how we start off as babies and become adults. So
Yeah.
all adults are sort of like imposter adults until they've spent a little bit more time getting lazy in it.
It's funny talking about going back to that journey, and at that time when you start, those activities are just so big in your mind. It's like running a seminar, huge, taking off with your car and just some big pinnacle event for you to draw a line in the sand and say, I'm going for something bigger. That's so big at the time, and now you get the rewards of it because this is your life. Now I get the rewards of it because we're in this cool office and I've got a big team and we've got a multi-million-dollar business. It's awesome, but it all came from that one little decision of like massive overwhelm in my head to draw a line in the sand. And that's where it starts, with that courage right at the beginning.
Yeah.
I think that's what's important.
So it's like you'll make a decision or you're a bench warmer. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, you're a bench warmer until you make the decision. So yeah, you're 100% right.
Yeah, exactly. So
Let's go through these.
Cool. So just because I love the way you think and the way that you demystify just busting these myths. We've got the myth buster, which has 10 letters.
Yeah, let's bring it on.
So the first one, M, stands for money is evil. So I know it's going to be, all 10 of these are going to be highly negative because this
let's
is...
smash them, but it's realistically how people used to think.
This is like real
How I used to
sentences.
think, probably.
Yeah. So it's something like 8 out of every 10 fictional rich people are villains. So we've got like this story narrative out there that says that, that if you charge somebody for something, that's just pure evil. Or that money is, it makes you bad, it corrupts you, and all these, you would have heard so many versions of this.
Yeah, 100%.
So what's the mindset behind that? Where does all that come from? And
What's just by society, like you said, it's like a brainwashing thing. It's just everyone thinks that way, so everyone does what everyone else does. So you're a product of your environment, and the environment's filled with that. Like you said, 8 out of 10 are villains. But the thing is that what I believe people need to realize is that money amplifies who someone already is. So if you consider yourself a good person and you think money's bad, then you're saying you're a bad person, because you're thinking that more money is going to mean that somehow you turn evil, which is ridiculous. Like, you've got control over yourself. Money amplifies good. Like, I get money, I donate to charity, I put it back into helping more people. It's the most positive thing ever.
if we could call it like superpowers instead of money, to say if I had Superman's powers, I'd go around just on a murder spree. You're like,
Yeah, it's a great little example.
You were like, well, I wouldn't go on a murder spree.
Yeah.
I'd try to go on a saving people spree.
Because it's power, right? Yeah, it's resources. It's just a resource, and you can do good or bad with that resource. Like you're saying, the superpowers is a resource. You can choose to do good or bad with that.
Yeah.
But the way that money comes about is via value. It doesn't mean that some people that have money, it doesn't mean there isn't people out there with money that aren't positive. There's still some negative people out there, or some destructive people out there. When you look at, there's this guy in Queensland called the Candyman. I'm not sure if you've heard of him. He's like this chauvinistic dude that like has his mansion and Ferraris and Lamborghinis. Which is nothing wrong with having a mansion, Ferraris and Lamborghinis if that's what is a part of what allows you to have fun in your life. But he holds girls captive and stuff there. It's like someone you'd probably rather not have money.
Yeah.
That's an example of something that's negative, but most generally the population is quite good.
Yeah.
So good, positive people that mean well. Because we're human beings. We like other things. So if you look at money as a way and a representation of value, then you realize that if you're not actually making much money, you're not actually giving much value.
Yeah.
Because if you are working in an organization and you're doing factory work, for example, you're providing value, which is why you're getting paid. But the amount that you're getting paid is based on the propensity of value that you're giving. You're giving us like a relative value. You're giving $19 an hour worth of value, or $16 an hour worth of value, which is why you're getting paid that much.
Yeah.
It's like the reason I've got a multi-million-dollar business is because I've created a system that helps change people's lives and help other people even get help themselves. So it's like this big continuum of value and help that's getting moved forward, and I'm leveraging that way, which is why I get rewarded for that. But there's people out there that are making way more money, that are giving way more value than what I'm getting, and they deserve that because they're putting in the work for it. So,
and also, the idea of money as well has confused a lot of what, for a lot of people, what value means. So like if we didn't have a thing called money, then we'd probably then understand what a value exchange was a little bit more. Because it's basically like, that you've got a skill set and they've got a divorce they're going through. They've got a health issue they're going through, that they're going to die because that they just can't bring themselves to to work out what's going on in here, to like, why do they keep eating so poorly? Why do they keep taking drugs? Why can't they change their life? And the value of that problem or ambition, like they want to build something or they want to get away from the pain, the value you're providing is a solution to that pain, which is massive value, or it's to build this empire, which again is massive value. And then the money exchange is then just, it's just a bit of paper or plastic, or now it flies through the air, or however it goes now. But it's really just like a way of counting how much value you've created.
100%. Like if you look at our clients, if we go back to a little bit of coach talk here, niche, like when I work with people, I help them get their niche clear at the start, we're pretty much helping them channel their strength to help people who need it a lot. Mix that passion with the profitability. So they've got passion for doing something. Let's channel that passion into an area where someone will value it. Like if anyone's watching this, they're obviously like personal development. And anyone that's watching it at all, they would have had some kind of experience when they tried to help someone that's close to them with personal development. It may not have been as well received as what they'd hoped. So it's kind of like they're trying to give personal development. Maybe it's like your dad or your sister or something. You're like, no, just trust me, try this. It's a positive thing, or it's law of attraction. And they don't care about it. Because in their mind, they don't associate value to it. And that's what I found really weird, because I used to try to help family members out with business. And this was when I was running my digital agency and I was quite successful. They didn't give a crap about what I had to say. But then I had someone else when I started my business that were desperate to give me $20,000 to help them and then love me for paying me that money, because I'm giving so much value to them that they want to give me that cash.
So the value that you're giving is valuable depending on who's receiving it. And that's
100%. And that's why I have different coaches that I'll work with. Like one example of a coach that I helped in the US had a program that was over $100,000, and he taught this personal development kind of regime, like this personal development system. And then I had people that teach the same system here that went before I started working with them, charged out for $500 for like a 6-week course. Same system. One guy's just channeling it to his target market was dudes that are kind of really well off, and they might have been in finance or senior execs and stuff like that, who are very, very well off financially, maybe very successful entrepreneurs and CEOs. And so for them, that value could mean that potentially they get their mojo back and they're making 5 times as much as what they are in their ruts. So them switching out that rut's worth $1 million to them. Whereas like this other person's charging broke people, don't really care about it that much because they don't say they want it. And so for them, it's $500 is really expensive because it's not giving them the value. So yeah, you're spot on.
So skateboards for senior citizens may not be a good match.
No.
You might find one who loves it, but the majority probably don't want that.
Yeah, exactly, because they don't see the value.
It's like the Y that stands for yourself, which is like, I can't do it because I'm a special kind of, I don't know, like born without the right skills, born without the right kind of educational backing, or that I'm just too clumsy to do this whole thing. I can't speak in front of people.
Yeah.
So it's not that it can't be done, it's just that it can't be done by me.
Yeah. And when I see that, I think it's the way that I look at it, which usually shocks people. I'm like, why do you think you're so special? Like, why do you think you're so where's this ego coming from? That you think you're so different to everyone else that somehow doesn't apply to you, when it applies to every other human being on the earth. Like this really interesting kind of research that I did was that no human being is any more than 1% different with their DNA. So on like a cellular level, everyone is at the max 1% different in their DNA. So everyone's such similar potential. You can see it when you know people who have gone from being like no confidence to really confident, really fat to like in great shape, or terrible with men to just like finding this amazing guy in their life. You see the transformation and you realize that there's potential. Everyone's got that exact same potential. So whenever someone attaches a reason why they can't make it work, and they put themselves in that special situation, I say, why do you think you are so special?
Yeah. There's 7 billion of us.
Yeah, and we're all the same. There's no difference. And I know that because I was a follower. I was bullied. I struggled with confidence. I couldn't even do an English presentation in high school. And now I'm super certain, I have no problems with seminars because I've developed and chosen to take that same potential that Tony Robbins has within him, and say, yeah, if he's accessing his potential like that, if he can do it, then I can do it. Why would I be putting him on a pedestal or say that I'm special or different than him? We're all the same. We really are. And that's how I look at it, but I know it won't be enough to help some people change it, because they'll say, yeah, that's easy for you because you have money. When you look at examples of people that are way worse off than you, that have actually gone ahead and done things that are greater than where you're at, gives you some perspective and realises the power that you have. And so like some of our clients, there's a difference in some clients. Like I might talk to someone who's $100,000 in debt, whose wife's about to leave them. They're in a terrible situation because that person's done nothing. And it's like they've got no money, and then they've broken through and gone to this amazing place. And I look at that situation, then I look at someone else that's got a really great job, they're making $100,000 a year, and they don't have that same level of commitment because they're not seeing the potential. And it's like someone else is here, and this person's more committed, so they just go like this, and this person doesn't believe in themselves, and they go like that. It's just that, it's an unbalanced perspective of their own worth. They see other people as being different or special, or them as being different or special. It's unrealistic.
Like almost back to the previous point that out of these two people, this one transcended. This one didn't make a decision. This one did. This one also can.
Anyone can do anything.
That they all start from different places, and they can all, as you said, anyone can do anything. The next one, technique, which is to say that maybe you've already taught me how to sell, but what if my coaching can't help others? Because it's almost like the previous point again, but it's that how do I know that I know how to help others? Or how do I know my product's any good?
I'll answer this question by giving you what I believe the 4 attributes are to a world-class product. I call them the 4 F's of a world-class product. So you've got framework, focus, family, and fun. That's what, in my opinion, for a coaching product, you meet those 4 elements to their extreme, then you do really, really well. It doesn't matter how you do it, as long as you meet them. I teach a way to do it that leverages and helps provide really, really good quality service, so that's usually more leverage for the person. But as long as it satisfies that, even if you want to do it manual, as long as you're satisfying that, they'll get results and have a great experience. So these 4 F's, framework, this is the main one, that's the technical. It's like you need to have a system that if people follow every single time, they do it to every single point. So a framework's like a set of pillars. So for us, like this book is built off my set of pillars, which is design, attract, convert, perform, succeed, leverage, and lead. They're like my 7 pillars that I use to help coaches get to 7 figures. So for me, I know my framework works if every single person that jumps through and goes through this framework gets results, then implements it to 100%. Someone implements it to 50%. Like if you're a fitness coach and you're helping people lose weight, and you have fitness, nutrition, and mindset as like your 3 pillars. If someone like does 50% of the nutrition stuff, so they're like eating really good half the time, and then half the time they binge eat and have cake and ice cream and all go crazy and have massive calories, that's not following the system. So you have to follow every attribute to 100%. But that's how you know your technical abilities there. If people can follow your system and you feel confident saying, if someone does everything to 100% of the ability, they're going to get the outcomes you're promising, then yes, your framework's good, your ability is good. Most of the time when I work with someone, they're 80% of the way there or more. The time you got to question yourself, if you're thinking, how do I help people get results? Because we help our clients charge premium, and the way they charge premium is because they're promising an outcome or a result. They're not just going, look, I'll teach you how to overcome fears. Because fears is an ingredient, it might be one of the pillars, or it might be part of one of the pillars. Or you know what, I help people break through. And so breaking through is one thing. If you're a career coach and you help your person that's in a job have a breakthrough so they're feeling more confident, they still need to know how to ask their boss for a promotion. They need to know the technical stuff as well. So that's one ingredient, not all the ingredients. So you need to have the ingredients that weigh up to being at least 80% of what they need. And sometimes you need to fill in the blanks. Sometimes you've got some extra things you need to do. So maybe you're a mindset coach and you want to help people lose weight. You know, well, I've got 80% of it, but I'm not 100% strong on like the workout side of things. So I'm going to go research that. It's not about what you want to teach or what you think you've got already. It's about what they need. And if you've got 80% of what they need, sweet, that's okay. You can fill in the gaps with more research or consulting or doing someone else's coaching course to learn that 20% gap. But you need people to use your framework and get results every time. That's framework. But I think the most important thing to a quality course is focus. Because family and fun, family is just having an environment of people who are going through the same things to support the growth. Because one of our clients has a massive win in seven-figure coach and boosts everyone else up. Because they're all on the same journey, so they can learn together. If someone's feeling down, they get lifted up by the rest of the group. So it's really beneficial to have like-minded people who have similar goals together. Because if someone's overweight, they're overweight because their environment is full of people who are overweight. So if you put them in a process of people that are going through that same journey, they can make new friends on that journey to success, so their old environment doesn't pull them back. So family's important. Fun is the 1%ers. So like, if we went out there into the hallway, you'd see like a bunch of, we've got like medallions that we give out to our clients, and they hit their goals, they get a new medallion, and they progress through the medallion system. That's not going to get people results, but it's going to help make the experience of the program cool. So we've got 1%ers and welcome backs and stuff that we give out that are cool to 1%. So family and fun are awesome. Framework is important. Focus is most important, because that's where most coaching programs go down. So if you can get this next bit right, you'll smash it. And that is essentially that. Focus, it comes in two sections. There's macro focus, which is helping the person you're working with get laser focused and clear on where they want to go. Okay, and then there's micro focus, which helps keep them focused. You want to get them focused and keep them focused. Because they're going to deviate, and you're going to bring them back on. And that happens with support and accountability mainly. So usually when programs fall down, it's because the framework's great, but people don't implement it. So for us in our 12-month program, like everyone gets a plan. So they do the plan. Like at the start, if I get someone in, I create the plan. If another coach gets somebody in, they create the plan, and we're very, very skilled at the technical and the strategy side of things. But if they don't implement their plan for 1 week, like get to the end of the week and they haven't ticked off what they were meant to do in our public group, our private group, then they get a phone call and they get grilled. Like we grill them. So there's no way that you can avoid doing what you need to do to get results, and that's why our clients get good results, because we're great at the focus side of things, especially the micro focus side of things. I think that's really important, and also on the macro focus side of things, we spend more time at the start with our clients getting the foundations right, because that's what sets the tone for the long term. So macro focus and micro focus, we nail, and that's what most people struggle with. So if you're feeling like, I just don't know if I've got enough, is your framework 80% of the way there? And can you fulfill focus? And that's what's going to allow you to charge more, and therefore have a premium program and get your clients better results and get you better results.
That's a great answer for techniques. Like if you don't have the techniques, they exist.
Yeah, they exist. You can learn it. You've got to be somewhat of the way there. You can't, like, this is not just like, this is a 7-figure business. Like, we're talking about how to get to 7 figures here.
Yeah.
Someone works in a corporate role their whole life and will not get to 7 figures 99.999% of the time. So you're wanting to get there with no ability, no skill, no value, no work ethic, nothing. That's not realistic.
Yeah.
I get our clients, like, I get clients from crazy stories of $0 to $80,000 in a week. Or, you know, they make $60,000 in a week. Or we had Barry recently who made $250,000 in a month. Yeah, from Game Changers. So I coached him to do that. So crazy results. But that's from putting in the work, and it's not, they've got the skills. You can't expect to sell people with no skills, no work ethic, nothing. It's still like a realistic, this is still building value, it's building a business. You have to have skills. Yeah, you can fill some gaps, but you have to have skills.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's like you've actually got to spend the time doing the training and the upskilling.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Next one, high prices or clients won't pay that much. And this
Very
kind
tied
of
into that last one as well.
Yeah, one thing I think I keep hearing from a lot of people, and then even to the point like where our own heads can say it and we have to check in. If a person's like looking in their own pocket and they can't afford the course that they're selling other people, they stop selling.
Yeah.
And it's incredible, like this happens, like because like the value exchange should be, what if you have 100 bottles of milk and there's 100 people that just need that milk, and you're like, I'm sorry, I can't afford my own milk, so I'm not going to sell it to you, or
it's a great metaphor.
Yeah. Yep. So, like when people say like the high prices, people won't pay that much, and people just keep saying it like it's a mantra of some kind. Why is that said so much?
Yeah, it's self-worth. In my opinion, it's self-worth. It's like people don't, and the self-worth comes from an honest place of them not thinking their shit's good enough. It's like they're like, I can't charge $5. No one will pay that. It's like, yeah, that's because you won't pay that. So it's like, in my opinion, if we just like pause for a second and say a coach or anyone in business, from a coaching point of view, because obviously that's my specialty, a coach, in my opinion, is a role model. We're talking about giving value. Value comes, in my opinion, mainly from being someone who practices what they preach, as a leader, as a role model. So if you want to be a role model, it's about being a role model in every area. And so if you're not practicing what you preach, if you're expecting other people to pay for your stuff, you need to be willing to invest in yourself. If you want people to come to your program and get over their fears and do things that they're afraid to do, then think about what's your area of growth in your life. It might be your relationship. So if you're expecting your fitness coaching clients to therefore, your fitness clients, if you're expecting them to go to the gym, which is petrifying, meal prep, which is petrifying, then maybe you got to go out and talk to some girls. Because you're asking them to do what they fear most, you're not doing what you fear most. Same thing with premium price points. Most people either don't do it because they're not being a role model, so they're not willing to invest themselves. They've got scarcity mindset issues. If you've got a scarcity mindset, you're not going to be able to get results. You won't have people invest in you. That's full stop. Secondly, if you don't have the self-worth and you don't believe that you can do it, and you don't think your course is good enough, and it's not worth 5,000, then you're feeling inauthentic selling it. For me, I find it's like, I think my course is worth $1 million. So for $20,000, it just seems so freaking cheap. It's just a joke because I know how good the results are that we get our clients. So I honestly feel like it's ridiculous. So I've got no hesitation at all with selling it at that price point because of that.
Because it's their life that you're giving them. It's that value.
Yeah, it's just like direct value proposition. Like if someone goes into our process, we help them build a 7-figure business. So if they invest $20,000, like most of our clients make that back in the first month.
Yeah.
It's good. It's like, and then they've got that forever. It's just so ridiculous. And you got to also think of, again, back to what you said earlier. People find it valuable if it's attached to what they care about most. So if someone's overweight, let's just give a random example. They're looking in the mirror, they're not enjoying themselves, they don't have that self-worth. Nothing else matters to them. Finding their dream partner, right? Starting a business. If you don't sell them a business program, in their mind, all they're thinking in their head that's what's holding them back is their weight. They think that's the issue. So if you're selling them on that, they're thinking, well, I don't care what it is. I've tried every diet. I've tried specialists. Nothing works. If you can get me that for 5K, that's more important to anything else. If I'm making 50K a year and I have to give 1/10 of my yearly thing to get my whole life back, yes, I'll invest in that.
Yeah.
So it's a mixture of like your own self-worth, being a role model, and also attaching it to what someone cares about. So they're willing to invest in it because it's solving what they think's the worst thing in their life.
Yeah. Brilliant. Alrighty. And then the next one, blame, which is really just...
Mate, I love this one.
It's almost, this isn't the way that people say it. They're not going to say, I've got a problem that I keep blaming other people. It's more so they'll say, like, I can't do it because... insert other party. My mum, my dad, my brother, my sister, my kids, my teachers, my wife, my husband...
My age, my earnings, my gender, my... It's what I call a story. It's a limiting belief. It's funny because around the office here with all our team, all my friends and everything, it's cause and effect. It's either you're taking personal responsibility for everything that happens in your life, or you think things happen to you. You think that you can't control things. That's the damaging thing here, because if you ever give a reason to something not happening because of an excuse, you lose all power and all control. The reason that is because, let's say for example you said, okay, cool, I couldn't make it because, I didn't hit my goals because I didn't have the time. Then you're saying that you can't hit goals if anything external comes into your life. You've lost all control. I never say that. I said because I didn't make the time, which at least that gives me control. I'm saying that, I didn't do it, but I've still got the ability to do it next time. So when I go to approach it again, I can say, yes, sweet, I'm still in control. So when I go to hit my goal next time, it's me that's the one that's got the influence over it. Whereas if I say, it's because I didn't have the money or the time, I'm saying that if any external force comes into my life, it could stop me. It could stop me at any time, so I've got no bloody control over my results if I come from blame or use excuses.
So they're making a permanent decision that if...
they've got no control, pretty much.
Yeah, if ever anything similar, permanent decision, that thing... So they just keep, stacking all these conditions on.
Yeah, they keep saying, I don't have result, I don't have control, it's their fault, it's this fault, it's because of this, it's because of that. Yeah. So in their mind, they're thinking, I've got no control, and they become addicted to using excuses so they don't feel like they're wrong, when in actual fact, no one cares if they're wrong. Yeah. It's not about being right or wrong, it's about getting results and living an awesome life.
Exactly.
So, it's crazy, but it's funny, we call it stories. So if anyone ever says anything like, I was late because of traffic, and you're like, story, like straight away, like that's a story, that's an excuse. It's not the traffic, you could have left early. It's like there's always something, even if it's like the smallest thing, it's like, how'd you go? Sorry, I lost my pen. Story. Like, we don't take anything Any single thing that says that they're not in control, it's a story.
So like dog ate the homework.
It's funny, the other day, there was someone in the office, I can't remember what it was specifically, but someone didn't pull through and get a breakthrough, or didn't make a sound, we said, and they said, oh sorry, a dog ate my motivation. Or something like that. Was hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really like interesting one. It's like blame, cause and effect, taking responsibility is the most important thing, fundamental in my opinion.
Again, like all of these points are actual sentences that have come from students in teaching.
Cool.
The next one, undersized market. So literally that, undersized market.
Oh, undersized, yeah.
Yeah, so that there's people, hypnotherapists, coaches, Reiki masters, kinesiologists, or personal trainers, or finance coaches, like whoever they are, to say like there's not enough people in my area, or there's just not enough people around, or my advertising budget can't reach, all 7 billion people. So it's
what a shame.
Yeah.
They'd have hundreds of billions of dollars to reach everyone.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, there's a money thing there. It's like I don't have the money to reach people, but there's no excuses of size of market, because you got the choice of who you target.
Yeah.
Like when you've got a skill that can help lots of people, you get to choose who you want to work with. If you're a finance coach, you can choose if you want to target, single mums that like sport, or you can choose if you want to target, like you can choose how the size of the market you want to work with. But the thing is, that can never be an excuse, because you can go online. You can go online for anything. So the market's never small when you go online. But there's still a cap. Let's say there's 1 million people in a space, and you've got a $1,000 product. Then you go, cool, I've got $1 billion market cap. Like that's because 1,000 times 1 million is 1 billion. I can make $1 billion off these people. So it's like if you've got a goal to have a $5 billion business, then maybe you need to target someone else. Or you need to open up your market. And that's okay, because by the time your business gets to anywhere near that, usually bring in other markets and areas, like you see Telstra or Coles, they bring in credit card options, or people can get their mobiles from there and stuff, so they're bringing in different streams of income to hit their financial goals. So you can always bridge when it gets to that size, but you've got a choice over who you target. That's what you need to remember. And when you go online, it opens up everything.
I remember hearing excuses, and it'll be a story, but whether it's any of these modalities that skills people have, they'll say like, the school keeps pumping out coaches and trainers into the market, and there's too much competition. I found that most of them aren't competition, because most of them don't even have an offer out there. So you can kind of wipe off anyone who doesn't have an offer out in the marketplace. They're not your competition anyway. But even just from those who do have an offer out there, what can you say about competition that way?
Well, competition is absolutely amazing for the reason that it proves your concept. It means there's demand for your offer. So if you're in like a space where there's competition, it means that people are buying that. And the biggest issue with coaches is that there's no demand for what they sell. And there's no demand for what they sell because they don't present it right. So if someone's a hypnotherapist and they're saying, well, I'm a hypnotherapist, who wants hypnotherapy? No one wants hypnotherapy. No one wants coaching. People want the body of their dreams, the career of their dreams, the finance of their dreams, the relationship of their dreams, the partner of their dreams. They want an outcome. They don't want your ingredients.
Because your skill, your ingredient is not a topic, and it's not an
it's not an outcome that they care about. Like you're passionate about it, but if you keep talking about hypnotherapy and try to educate, if people had to learn about what you do before they make a decision of whether it applies to them, you're stuffed. So you need to sell the outcome, and then big best quote you ever write this down: sell them what they want, give them what they need. Sell them the body of their dreams, and then when they come in, hypnotize them. Or whatever your ingredients and methodology is, what I call your proficiency is, to get them that outcome. And like a great example is like a coach we work with, Maggie, who was a hypnotherapist, which is why I'm going to bring it up. But she was targeting all sorts of different people. She had 6 different business kind of directions, and I just threw it all in the trash and said, what are you passionate about? And she had this book that she'd written called Unzipping the Fat Suit Using Your Mind. Unzip the Fat Suit. So outcome is weight loss. Using your mind, that was the proficiency. So it was the best-selling book. It was going really well. She'd been on a current affair today show, all this stuff.
I've heard of it.
Oh, you've heard of it? There you go.
Unzip the Fat Suit.
Using your mind. Yeah, so she had that, and we built a program around that, which was outcome-orientated. So she ended up targeting people who want to lose weight, selling that, what they want, and then when they come in, focusing on the mindset side of things. So, but before she was trying to sell the ingredients and didn't get anything, and then she built a $10,000 a week business because of that, because we changed their marketing around and got her focusing on one product and made the niche profitable. So that's a big thing, but Yeah, demand is great, competition is great. And the good thing to know as well is competition is so incompetent most of the time. So if there's competition, you could I could go into any competitive space and just lap it up because most people don't put in effort to being different and better. If you want to succeed in business, you need to know within yourself that you're willing to do more than others are to be successful.
Instead with love, so it's like when competition is basically what they're putting out is not doing the job that it's supposed to do. We still love the people, but what they've put out, not working.
It still might get some results or whatever. It's not even, like, you don't even have to contrast yourself to that. You just need to know that like, if your thing is what you're offering gets results and you do it in a way and you've got great targeting, people are going to resonate with you differently as well. So especially in the coaching space, people will work with you based on who you are. Some people don't resonate with me because I'm very straight down the line, very honest, and I'd rather get people results and be friends with people. Although there's a lot of love. If you come to one of our retreats, it's like tears and hugs the whole time pretty much.
Yeah.
But across from a front end, like, I'm very straight down the line. If someone wants to be made to feel good all the time and not be called out, wrong coach, because I'll slam them if they're not on the direction they want because I want them to get results. And that doesn't resonate with a lot of people.
Yeah.
So everyone's got their own style. Yeah, so that's what I'd say about that.
The next one's systems, as in like not knowing what I'm doing, but we seem to have covered it in so many others. If we could change it to, let's say, like study junkie. So like, what if?
Yeah.
So S for study junkie now. It's the person, let's say that, you should always educate, but what if that's all they do?
Well, then that's framework. That's not focus, family, and fun.
Yeah.
You need to get them results. You need to get them focused on where they're actually going. Because teaching them, people read books all the time. In fact, for the first 2 years of winning, so study junkies and stuff, if they just want to educate, that's a problem because it's just framework.
Yeah.
It's not focus, family, and fun. They're not sufficing all elements. And we know this all the time because people read books. The reason this has got a lot of knowledge in it, which is great, but this is not telling someone what their model should be, their niche, their price point should be, when they should launch, how they should launch. Yeah. It's just telling them all the skills to be able to market and sell and systemize and stuff like that. What I would say when it comes to all this side of things is you want to, number one, you want to learn from people that get results. This period, you want to find someone that's where you want to be. Doesn't matter what you have to pay them. If they can get you where you want to be faster, do it. It's like I was in a 40K program, 50K program, 125K program, and 100K program. Over the last 2.5 years, I've invested over $1 million learning. So it's like I find people. Another great example of a friend that I put up with a couple of days ago. I won't mention his name. It was actually yesterday. One of my best friends, and he went into a mastermind recently. He went to 3 actually. And then he launched his mastermind after being in 3 others. They gave him all their knowledge, pretty much. Went and got all that knowledge because he needed the systems, he needed the strategy, he didn't know. So he's like, I'll go and pay it. He was in a 25K program, US. He was in I think it's 50K program, it might be more for the second one, Kevin Nations. Do you know how much that one is? It's like 50K plus. And then he was in a 10K one, so 3. Yeah. And then he launched his mastermind 2 weeks ago. It's been 2 weeks, and he's made 25 sales at 25K, 2 people paid up front for 25K US, and he had 23 people put a $15,000 US deposit down. Yeah. So do the math on that. What's that? 525K, I think, 525,000 US in 2 weeks, because he launched, followed the systems, learned those 3. Great little example. Yeah. Yep.
So just put it together.
He needed it, he paid for it, instead of being scarcity mindset, I'll do it myself and I'll learn it, and you take yourself 5 years to do it. That's why I joined the 50K program, to get some knowledge, get some momentum, and I joined the 40K program to get some more stuff, then I joined the 125K program, then a 100K program, because I want to get there faster. Money means nothing to me, especially when you believe in yourself to get results in business. It's so easy to get a return.
But time means something to you.
Oh yeah.
So the next one, time.
Oh, there we go, perfect.
I'm too busy or it takes too long.
Yeah. Time means nothing, energy is everything.
Yep. It
takes let's just use an example. You got a 2K product, which is the lowest end that I ever work with anyone at. So let's just pretend let's use the worst case scenario here. 2K product, but you spend 2 days a week selling, okay? So let's say in that you do 10 sales sessions, and you got a 2K product, and you make 5 sales at 2K. That's $10,000 that you've made. Yeah. Because you've made half of your 10 sales at 2K each, so 5 sales at 2K, you've made $10,000. So you've made $10,000 in 2 days, but you need to get the leads, so you spend 1 full day launching 3 marketing campaigns, and then you spend 1 day on clients. So you've got 4 days taken up there, 4, let's just say 8-hour days.
Yeah.
That's 32 hours for the week. Starting your business, this is just startup, and you're making 10K a week with more than enough. Like that's 10 sessions is like, that's worst case scenario to convert 50%. Anyway, for any of our clients, no one converts less than that after they learn to sell through my system. So that's worst case scenario. And then they're doing 3 campaigns a week. That's a lot. Like you don't need to do that many, but at the start it's going to fast track your results. And then 1 full day for clients with the system I teach, that's more than what you need. So I'm playing worst case scenario.
Yeah.
You're still working 4 days a week, and you've got this epic deal up, new marketing days, content creation as well. You've got more than enough time. So it's about energy.
Yeah. So to people that can't maybe, I know like we can relate to what a number is and what 10,000 a week is as worst case, but to feel that could be you, to feel that could be them.
I'll give you an example then, which will help a lot. We had one lady who had a 2K program, Alicia, when she started, who coached massage therapists. That's her niche, and massage therapists don't have a lot of cash flow, so it's not the easiest, most profitable niche, but that's who she was targeting. And she joined 7-Figure Coach, our program, when before our call she'd already said to her partner she wasn't going to join for another 12 months. They made that decision together. And when we got on the call, she's like, crap, I'm just being scarcity mindset stuff, and I'm going in. And her partner said, not going to help you, you do it yourself financially, make it happen. So, and they were in about 10K debt at the time as well. So she could only work after 9 p.m. That's the only time she had left, because she ran a full-time massage therapy business. It was going through a little bit of trouble, and she was a full-time mum. She has 2 kids. So if you want an example of someone that did well, that's with little time. After 9 p.m. was the only time she had to work throughout the week. That's it. And weekends she wasn't allowed to work because she had this big church thing on Sunday. She just didn't have much time. In week 5, she made 10 sales, and she made $20,000 in a week. She had a 2K program, so 10 sales at 2K. So in week 5. And in those first 4 weeks, she launched 11 marketing campaigns, which is pretty solid. So just over 2 a week.
We're doing the steps, the framework, focus, fun, family.
Family and fun, that was her product. That was her product creation. That's how she built it. That's what she included in her product. But then she was getting no results with her campaigns, but she put in the action. She didn't have any time. She launched 11 campaigns after 9 p.m. over those 4 weeks period. And then in week 5, she sold, and she sold throughout the week. So now she opened up some time, and she made 10 sales in a week, 20 grand in week 5. So if you've got more time than just after 9 p.m. every day, and you want to get results, then Alicia's done it. So don't make excuses.
Yeah, like we've all got 24 hours in a day.
And this is just a nice, like one of the nicest, most awesome way. Last month she made 93 grand, and she's just about to finish her first 12 months in our program. And her partner James, who at the start said, you do it, he's a really nice guy, but they'd already made that decision, and he had enough on his own plate. And they got 2 small kids, like I mentioned. They flew up to Thailand at our last retreat 2 weeks. They were there for 2 weeks, 2-week holiday. So they took the kids up, and they flew their mum up to come and have a 2-week holiday up there as well as doing the retreat, which was amazing, because at the start they couldn't even afford to take their kids to Adventure World, which is a $200 a day kind of thing. So it's just like changed, and James quit everything that he was doing, the partner, the dad, and he's full-time in the business now, which is really cool. So it's Alicia and James together, and they've got 2 salespeople. So when they're in Thailand, their sales guys made 10 sales over the 2 weeks, and now their program's 4K. So it's, they're doing pretty cool stuff. And that's an example of coming from no time and making it work.
And I love your case studies, how like you can just off the top of your head, you're like, oh yeah, there's a client, there's a client, there's a client. Results. And you're like,
that's all that matters, really.
Yeah,
that's all I care about.
It's like when you see, like, you know, the 2 pictures of the weight loss, like the before and after. It's a money before and after, and like, well, that could be you. That's what gets you to that you've made
just results.
And then the next one, E for economy. So, you know, that every other year in history has been the right time in history to do it, but this year is so special that it's the only year not. But that's, you know, it's a thing that's being said, or it's you know, it's a bad time.
It's the same thing with like if you're dealing, like, it's Christmas time at the moment, right? It might not be the right time because it's Christmas time. Well, last year, the week before Christmas, I made $242,000 in a week. The week before Christmas, after our team finished up, because I wanted to prove to them that I just want to be a good role model. And so that was the week before Christmas. Like, there's never a bad time when you're dealing with people and helping them solve their biggest issues, because their biggest issues don't sleep. They lie awake at night thinking about their biggest issues. So you call them in the middle of the night and they'd still be open to a call. So there's no bad, like, if the economy's bad, they don't just go, oh, I'm just, well, stuff it, I want to try to make my life good. It's like they still want to solve their biggest problem. And especially in a bad economy, if you're any kind of business focused, like that's even better, or career focused, even better, because it's more important to them to solve those big problems. The problems become amplified in those times. So yeah, it's completely fine.
Yeah, like it's always the best, worst, whatever. It's always a time. There's always problems. There's always people wanting those problems to go away.
Yeah, 100%.
The last one of resources, I don't have enough. It's like
And money.
yeah, like to start my dream, I don't have, like I wasn't born privileged, or I wasn't didn't have like $100,000, or couldn't get from the bank $100,000 to start my business, or
It's a lot of money. You probably don't need that much to start your own business.
yeah, to begin with, you don't need that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, but they've got this, they'll say like, I don't have a web page, I don't have an office, I don't have a team, I don't have, or they'll just look at like what you have and they're like, oh, I don't have all those things. And it's been said, it's like one of those things people say, yeah, but why don't, how am I meant to get from here to there?
Yeah, well, I happen to open up to the page, but you guys can see this. It's called the coaching ladder. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's essentially 7 steps to getting to the 6 stages to getting to 7 figures. And at every phase on that ladder, so the 6 stages, there's a different focus. The focus starting out in any business always is cash flow.
Yeah.
So it's like marketing, sales, it's like all the cash flow generating stuff. The team and the big systemization and all these big resources, they're not necessary at the start.
Yeah.
You need to sell first, no matter what, which means that even if you did borrow money, you get your return back very quickly if you're focusing on what you should be focusing on. If you borrow money and then just start building a product you want to sell in 2 years' time, then how the hell are you going to get a return when you're not? So you're doing things in the wrong order. Even if you haven't built your product, you sell it first. So that's first and foremost.
Yeah.
The second thing is realizing that the only reason you'd have an issue with putting money down in business is if you didn't want to keep doing it in the long term. Because my mindset when I started this was, I don't care even if I've got to run a seminar every single week for the next 50 years.
Yep.
I'm not stopping because this is what I was born to do. So even if I invested in a 50K plus GSC, so $55,000 program starting out in this business.
Yeah.
And I didn't care. Like I didn't even care if I went 100K in debt because I knew that I was like destined to do $100 million, $1 billion in the long term. So what the hell does $100,000 matter? Because I'm not going to stop. Even if I go backwards, I'm not just going to go, whoa. It's like, which is what a lot of people do. Every business has to go backwards before it goes forwards. If that means going backwards compared with where they're at, because they might have to quit their job. So expenses always go up at the start and income always drops right at the start. That can change really quickly, but your expenses go up. You invest in the mentor, you invest in marketing, you invest in any kind of resource you need if you've got a product-based business. There's always more expenses at the start, and you always drop other things to spend more time on it. So you might quit a job, or you might stop another business. So it doesnment matter what happens, cash flow is going to go backwards, and it is going to springboard forwards if you've got a profitable niche and business model, which it's good to get that. So, you can certify that based on demand or competition, right?
Yeah.
If you're in a place that's got competition, that's why it's great, because you can jump into it going, yeah, people will buy it because it's a crowded market, meaning that people want this. So jump in and be better than most of the average people out there and you'll be fine, because most people don't put in effort. So you go in there knowing you're going to be in there in the long term, and even if you go backwards before you go forwards, that's how it works. For me, I went backwards before I went forwards. Every coach I've ever worked with, Alicia, Vicky, just any of the examples I've given over this, they all have to go backwards before they go forwards. If it's 5K, 10K, who cares if you get to a point really quickly where you're making 10K per week? And Vicky's a great example, because she wasn't in a very good financial position at all when she started working with me and through 7-figure. And then within 8 to 12 weeks, she was making 4 or 5K sales a week, which is 20K a week. So it didn't matter. If she went like 3K backwards, 20K a week solves that.
It does.
So it's like if you're in there for the long term, the short term shouldn't matter if you're going to go backwards before you go forwards. And people that aren't willing to go through that shouldn't be in business.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's my opinion.
So I love all the value you do, because I feel like that's been so valuable. Just like following the acronym down, kind of these really cool examples.
I love talking about all that stuff as well. So needed. So needed.
I reckon that people should, watch it again, get onto to Ryan's list, make sure that they can follow you, write your eulogy out.
Yeah, get it done. Get some clarity. If you need focus on your direction, if you're clear in your direction, then start hustling on marketing and sales. But if you're not clear on what you want to do, you're going to pinball everywhere and get stuck because you don't have the clarity. So either get a mentor of some kind, whether that's Scott, someone else in the industry, depends what your business model is. Find someone that's great at doing what you're going to do, get that clarity on where you want to go, and then start hustling hard to get that cash flow moving forwards, because it will be going backwards at the start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how can people get your book?
Okay, so if you go to winninginternational.com, you'll be able to, there's links to get it. And I'm pretty sure it's still up there for free temporarily. So you can get it free plus shipping to get access to the book, which is cool. And there's an audio version out as well. And if you want that, just send me an email. It's ryan@winninginternational.com. I'm happy to take emails if anyone wants to have any comments or anything like that. Just send me an email and I'll get back to you. But yeah, go to winninginternational.com. You can find our Facebook page there, and you'll be able to find out more information about me and add me in. Our most active kind of channel is Facebook. So if you're on Facebook, you'll see everything on there.
Excellent.
So winninginternational.com is your first point of call, and then go from there.
Cool. So that's just been amazing. Final thoughts, closing thoughts.
Yeah, cool.
What's one last sentence that we can leave people with?
Okay, so just give me some context quickly on where they're at. Most of these guys. Where are you at?
So having studied like one modality, it could be coaching, could be hypnotherapy,
Okay,
and
cool.
they're basically just like recent graduate looking to take that next step, thinking about what's a web page or like how do I promote myself, and it's all here, like it's in the book and it's in these courses.
Yep.
You can learn, you know, how to package, how to niche, how to sell, but it's like they're recent graduates, and then there's like probably if there's just one bit of gold, one bit of advice, without it being a technical thing, but maybe just for a bit of anyone who's a recent graduate to do this one thing.
Yes, start straight away. That's what I would say. Because most people want to leave it for a long time because they don't feel like they're ready. Start before you're ready, because you're going to speed up your growth so much more by being in it than you will thinking about it. And the biggest mistake that people with the modality make is they're stuck in that space and they're stuck in building something that's going to launch in the future. And when there's no time attached to that, they delay it for as long as they possibly can, because naturally as human beings we take the path of least resistance. That's actually what all our roads, like we're looking at those roads out the window over here. All the roads around, like you see windy roads in the countries and stuff like that, they're actually built off cow paths. Cow paths that were built over years because they go around, they don't just go up and down like this, they go around the hills because animals, naturally, human beings take the path of least resistance, physically and metaphorically. So naturally we take the path of least resistance, and for a coach that means creating content, that means doing what we find natural. But if you're not actually out there and you're not started and you haven't launched yet, there's thousands of people out there waiting for your help, and if you don't get out there, they're going to go unhelped. And it doesn't matter what's going on in you, because this is not about you, this is about them. If you get into this space, you're here to help people, and you got to stop thinking about yourself and start thinking about them, because we forget that there's people out there right now who might be suicidal, they might be hating themselves in the mirror, they might be just depressed and just hating on their job or whatever it is. Get out there and help them now. And to do that, you need to start. And after you started, trust me, what you got inside of you now is good enough to start helping, and then you can get better as you go on. But start now.
Cool. Thank you so much.
No worries, mate. Really good. Come here, give me a hug. Awesome interview. Peace out, guys.